Yo, what's up? We just seen what it was. Brandon Figueroa, right, with the knockout of Nicky Ball in Nick Ball's backyard. The underdog goes in and gets it done. Let's get to the damn shit. Just jumps. Anyway, here we are. We're talking boxing. Frank Bay Boxing, live and direct, instant reaction. Brandon Figueroa with the upset, three-time division champion. Actually, I didn't even know. Let's play this intro.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So Brandon Figueroa gets it done in Nick Ball's backyard. You know, exciting matchup. The ending, all you could ask for, right? In the 12th round, he pulls it off. That's all you can ask for, right? It was close going in. Hawker Mustang, salute, Frankie. Yeah, man. Saturday afternoon boxing, you know, from the UK. So we get in the afternoon. Nothing really on the plate because we got the Super Bowl tomorrow. But it's a decent day of boxing. Well, it was decent. I didn't watch Did you guys watch the undercard? I did not. I mean, I just seen a bunch of Mexicans getting beat up. I mean, people are telling me they're Nicaraguans, they're Venezuelans. You know, they just got a sticker put on them. You know, a Mexican sticker put on them, and the UK guys just beating up the Mexicans. You know, we got UFC tonight, do we? Is that on Paramount? I might have to tune in. I think there's also bare knuckle, but the big day in America is tomorrow. I don't know about the world, right? Are you guys watching the Super Bowl? Ball got lynched. Yes. Mars Boxeo. Hit the like, guys. Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you. But a good fight. Great fight. I mean, I think it's early knockout of the year, right? Is Nick Ball early knockout of the year? I think it might be, man. I think this might be knockout of the year so far. And see if it holds up because it's a high level match, right? Boom! He gets caught. We were in the chat that what do you guys think? Was it a good fight? How do you guys feel about the fight? Good fight, great fight. Tu Matador, good fight. Figueroa wins in nice fashion. Shakira still boring. Thank you. Day 8, Shakira is still boring. And Frank Bay doesn't give a fuck what you think, little sensitive biatches. Okay, little sensitive people. I made some shorts. Go check it out, and videos about Shakira. Still boring. You know, the highlight was a toupee flying off, and a lot of hateful comments that I don't like boxing. I don't like black fighters. We're racist. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess you can't like what you like, right? I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna drop the link, but I just wanted to cook for a little bit. You know, we got a lot of news going on. The fraud May runner situation. He's broke. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person, right? Fraud May runner going broke. Al Heyman hustled him. It was the Al Heyman special, the upset, right? These black dudes are hyping up Shushu. Oh, because yeah, you know that's what all this 126 news. Brandon Figueroa, a 3-division champion now. You know, I wasn't high on him because he, you know, the way he performed against Fulton. Yeah, a great fight. Yeah, right. No back foot bitching. This is boxing. This match is the exemplification of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Not that hit and not be hit. That's all I keep hearing. Oh, it's hit and not be hit. No, these motherfuckers, Ball and Figueroa, that's boxing. They're trading. They're showing mano y mano, you know, muy machismo, who's the toughest dog. That's what people want to see. That's what gets the blood flowing, the juices flowing, you know? Why do we accept weenie shit? You know, it's almost like you gotta be a weenie. If you're not a weenie, if you're tough, then you're not smart. They're saying figured out as food for Shushu. You know, it's an interesting match, but I don't know. Shushu, you know, he was getting pieced up by Castro, and Castro is one of our minor league guys. You know, he's on the farm team. You know, he was never the elite, but you know, they prop him Mexican, and all Mexicans are the best from Mexico. You know, that's what they say, right? Hawker, I figured the Ball was about to win that fight. He was. I'm seeing that Figueroa was on the cards. I didn't get to see who was on the cards up, but it was nip and tuck. Some people had Ball. It looked like Ball was landing the more flashier, eye-catching shots. But Figueroa, man, he worked that body. That's what you got to do. Work that body work. Espinoza knew he would kill Shushu and Carrington. You know, Shushu, Poo Poo, Carrington. He's talking a lot of that stuff. Salute Fun Truck. I'm gonna drop the link for anybody that wants to hop on. We're just gonna Frank Bay's gonna cook for a little bit. You know, get some things off my chest, on my mind. This is boxing, guys. Because I'm glad you're here, man. Salute Fun Truck, man. Like and subscribe. Homeboy got a channel. He keeps it real. He lets people talk, man. He's another one. Omar, Brandon Figueroa did something Crip Raymond Ford wasn't able to do. Saludos, Frank. Good to see you, homie. Yeah, you know what these motherfuckers are saying? I'm seeing on internet this real hipster shit. They're saying that Raymond Ford ruined Nick Ball. So it's kind of to slight, you know, Brandon Figueroa, you know? And he went for it, man. Thank you, Al Heyman. Yes. Al Heyman did what Al Heyman does. That's what he does. But you know what? It couldn't happen to a better person, right? You're all about the bling bling, all about the money. You're throwing money in people's faces. So, yeah, nobody feels sorry for the guy. But this is boxing, man. This is what we come to watch. It just sucks that it was at 2 p.m. in the UK, but the Mexican goes over there and puts it on them. You know, Mexicans the whole day we're getting their ass handed to them. Yeah, Fig is the champ, man. But I don't think Nick Ball, you see, and there was a Yo Playboy salute. Hit the like, guys. Hit the like for the homie. You know, get Frank Bay spread around the world. You know, get it popping. You know, check out the shorts and the bids. I'm doing a little bit more. But I want to come because I'm excited. That shit got me. You know, I'm about to go bang some shit. You know, pop some beers. You know, I feel like, you know, going to fight. That's what it should have made you do. You should want to go hit the bag. You know, go play some sports. You know, it gets the blood flowing, the juices flowing. That's what you go, man. You know what? This is the shit that's playing all around. You had enough of food to go. Look, man, look, I don't hate on nobody. Everybody has a right to do what they want, but Frank Bay got to do Frank Bay things. You know, I just focus on what Frank Bay needs to do. You know, Canelo is in the news. He's back talking that shit. You know, saying that he wants the rematch. You know, they're hating on Canelo. They're hating on Canelo, saying that Canelo knows he lost because he wants the rematch. Yo, Frankie, Mexican boxing #1. Yo, spread that shit, man. Talk that shit. Hey, they were taking a pounding earlier on the undercard. It wasn't looking too good for the Mexican peoples, right? And then Brandon Figueroa, it looks like he's losing, and he comes and drops the hammer. Hey, and you got to watch the fight, man. You know, no snack, no life, but retired. You know, watching the fight, Brandon was just working the body. He stayed consistent. Salute John Blaze. Salute, hit the like, guys. You know, Brandon Figueroa stayed consistent. And I noticed earlier in the fight, he was trying to land a straight left. But Nick Ball was throwing a bunch of all-you-kins. Do you guys remember that Street Fighter? The Ryu all-you-kins. Like, Nick Ball was throwing some all-you-kins from, like, left field, man. And how about the dirty tactics? You know, Nick Ball was allowed to, like, try to make Brandon give him some head. Is it just me, or did that not happen? Like, you know, he was given the 12 a.m. late night hitter. You know, you're with the chick and you say, hey, you want a drink? And you kind of just grab her head and pull her down. Is that just a Frank Bay play? You know, sometimes you got to make that move. You know, you just grab her by the neck and, hey, how about this? You know, Nick Ball was doing that all day. And the ref was helping them. You know, Figueroa was, and then, you know, Figueroa is warned for going low, right? He's warned for going low, but Nick Ball has about a centimeter to hit. You know, but I will say this: Figueroa got he got a gift with the low blows, because he did go low a few times. Raymond Ford is a better fighter than Shushu Bumass. You think so? I don't know. Raymond Ford has that ass style. He's kind of inactive, but yeah, he's decent. Went to the UK, took his belt. Hey, man, that's what you got to do, right? Be a road warrior. You know, and this is the thing. If you look at about boxing, right? You know, these UK guys, they make a name off Mexicans, you know? That's how they bring the Mexican over to lose. And sometimes the Mexican gets the win. You know, they really don't bring over Americans. For the most part, Americans, you know, the slick style, they don't, you know, you don't see the UK guys doing a UK versus slick style. It's almost like UK, the slick style is poison. Everybody knows it. The Eastern Europeans, the UK, you know, everybody, the Mexicans, everybody knows that style is poison and won't sell tickets. So they bring the Mexican because they know the Mexican, the Latinos, they bring the fire. It's going to be a war and you're going to sell tickets. You know what you're getting. Hey, I didn't say it. They're telling you with the way they match this shit. Hell yeah, Crips hating on Americans right now. Crips always trying to steal the earnings. You guys are hilarious. That's what I mean, man. If you're going to be funny about it. Nah, man. Look, man. It is what it is. We know what we're watching. What we just seen is actual boxing. Try to cherry pick the Mexican. Yeah. Well, but they know what's gonna sell the tickets. They know what's gonna sell the tickets. Figgy. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link, homie. But more importantly, as I'm talking to you guys, this is boxing. Don't get fooled by that shit we seen last week. You know, and then I already get it. You're hating Tio's Mexican ass got beat. You're just coping. I go, no, bro. This was worth the price of admission. This is what it was worth. Hit the like, Lord Chilaquiles. You know, shoot, Crippington already trying to still figure. Is he already talking shit? But you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna be like, "Oh, it has to be in New York. It has to be in my. I gotta call the shots. I get most of the money." I doubt he wants it. The way Fig looked, he looked a little vulnerable, but he's still dangerous. You know, I don't think anybody wants to fight him after looking like that. But you know what? You never know what you're gonna get with Figuerora. You know what I'm saying? Facts. We will never watch Shakur versus Tio, but this is what boxing is all about. Well, that's why you're here. Rock. Yeah, you're right, man. A rocky moment, a true win. A win for the fans. You know, you seen what happened. Nick Ball's team. Does anybody know why they stormed? I heard the announcers say that they thought Brandon was celebrating too much. You know, because his team jumped in right away, and the announcers said that well, they didn't know if Nick Ball was hurt. Well, that's the sport, man. Are they not supposed to celebrate? If Nick Ball would have won in that fashion, they'd have stepped over Figueroa's dead body. So don't get it twisted. That was just poor sportsmanship. Hockey was going for Ball. Frankie, I hope these thugs who try to jump Figueroa get banned for life. Yeah, you know, it's just, look, man, you're allowed to celebrate and win. The guy, he was okay. He was on his stool, but that was nasty, right? They saying he got his jaw broken. Nick was down on the cards too. Was he? I'm surprised that they were given, you know, Figueroa was putting in that body work, but I thought he was doing a little, I just thought that Nick Ball was going to win. Because you know, the scoring, he was landing the more eye-catching shots, but Brandon just kept shooting, catch and shoot. Finally threw the shot that caught him. You know, shit is overrated. I think so too. And you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna play that whole A side, B side. It needs to happen in New York. You know, but 126 is heated, right? You got El Divino, Brandon Figueroa, Poo Poo Carrington, right? But Brandon had to do it the hard way. Had to go in a guy's backyard, beat a top dog, and how did Shushu get it? Beating Castro, our minor league? You know, that's boxing though, right? They always kind of get the easy path. They always try to stop when we celebrate. You notice that? Well, you know, they were pissed, man. Did you see Nick's little brother try to sucker punch Brandon, coach? Yeah, I thought I saw a little something. And then some big-ass black dude came, his security came, and they were kind of treating Brandon like a second-rate citizen, you know, like he was the bad guy. You know, they were just celebrating. How are they going to beef when they're celebrating? Oh, and Angelo Leo. Damn, see, this is why I do it, man. So it's really heating up, cooking, and Poo Poo gets it the easy way. At least Angelo Leo had to go through El Venado. You see how it works, man? The Latinos, the Mexicans, they got to go overseas. They got to do it the hard way. They got to do it the hard way. But some people, you know, they get an easier path and they get called the best and they're avoided. And Vargas still WBC recess champ. Choco needs to fight him first. That's what somebody said, that Vargas is still the champ. But team was trying to cope. Well, they were pissed, man. That shit happened like in the blink of an eye. Nobody seen it coming. They were acting like, whoa, bulbous. You guys are hilarious, bro. This is a breath of fresh. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. That's okay. That's what I'm gonna stress. Ball. He fell out of the ring. He was out of the ring. I will drop the link later, guys. Hit the like. Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you. And it kind of sucks because this happened at 2 a.m. Salute Solo Dolo. Yes, thank you. You know, it was in the UK. And this is all the boxing we get because the Super Bowl's tomorrow. But just a great fight, man. They were trading, they were slugging, they were going at it. There really wasn't a lot of back foot bitching. The only thing that was bad was the dirty tactics by Ball. But see, that's what I'm saying. You see a lot of American fighters, they get the dirty tactics, the elbow, the grabbing, and they don't fight back. Punch that motherfucker in the nuts. That's what Fig was doing. He said, fuck that, and he punched him in the nuts. Every time when Ball started trying to grab his head down, he punched him in the nuts. Good for Figuerora. To me, this performance was a masterclass. This is a masterclass. That's what you call ass whooping. Clip that. Please, Frankie, I sent you the scorecard on Discord, bro. Okay, I'll check when I can, but thank you. What did Bulbous say? Yeah. This is a masterclass, bro. Shakira fight already forgotten. You know what? It is in our minds. Like, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's replaying it. All you're seeing is these dick eaters talking about he's the best, and they're doing the whole Haney and Tankonia fan bases fighting each other. It's all lip service. It's all talk. They're never going to fight. Boxing Rue. Yeah, that's what we talked about. Boxing Rue. I used you in my shorts. So if you like the short, let me know and share. KO of the year. Yeah, so far. And they gave Norman the KO of the year this past year, right? For knocking out Sasaki. Like, no, this is an actual legit KO because it's the highest level of competition. This is how you win titles, not running and hugging with the judges and ref on your side. Hey, and Nick Ball tried. He was trying to shove Figgy's head down for the bloge. You know what I'm saying? But what did Figgy do? Fig was punching to the nuts. So it was kind of even. And then, he got thrown to the ground. And the count was long. That first knockdown, it probably should have been waved off, He probably almost gets Nick Ball killed. But he asked him like at least 3 seconds, a 3 count. Are you okay? Are you okay? You're supposed to have him walk side to side or back. But he was like trying to shake his hand, trying to wake him up. Watch the replay of the ref after the first knockdown and tell me if you weren't like me and you were screaming at the screen like, what the fuck? Most Black Americans fight in the elite level are fake. Look, man, you know what you're watching. I don't need anybody to tell me who's good and who's bad and what I like and what I don't like. Shakur won on all thanks to Shane Prince. Well, he you know what? He didn't even have to do very much. Look, Teofimo shit the bed, but apparently after like 7-8 days, he's a Mexican. And Mexicans blacks always beat Mexicans. That's all you're seeing on Twitter, on X, on YouTube. It's like, look, okay, cool. He got one win. That was decent. Look, man, he decent. But this is boxing, bro. This is the shit that gets you excited. This is the shit that makes you wake up and say, man, I can't wait to watch Figueroa again. How about that? Well, you know what, Mars? They say, oh, he got his ass whipped. No, this is an ass whooping. Can we say it all together? This is an ass whooping. This is how you whoop somebody's ass, right? Damn, hold on. This is how you whip somebody's ass, bro.
And this is what makes this sport so tough, because when you're tired, when you're exhausted, you're giving everything to throw every shot you can throw, but your vision's not quite there because you're tired, aren't you? You're making mistakes and you just don't see the punches coming.
Damn, he got knocked through the ropes. Damn, that was nasty work. What a way to win. What up, Frank? Haven't seen you in a while. Champy, yeah, haven't seen you, man. I've been here and there. It's a little hard to get on, pause. There's only one Figueroa. I was on Figueroa today. Good. You made money. What were the odds? Made him kiss the ring. Damn. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you can watch that over and over, but that's an ass whooping. So when all these motherfuckers tell me, the Tio got his ass whooped, that was domination. You say, bro, look at what Figueroa did in the guy's hometown against all odds. They tried to jump him. They were throwing beer. They were throwing shit at him. But that's how you do it. They don't call him the heartbreaker for no reason. I ain't gonna lie to you. Frank Bay's not gonna sit here and told you I picked Fig and I knew I was down after Fig looked very lackluster against Fulton. But maybe, just maybe, that was because he was weight drained or whatnot. But you know, this is how you go out and you prove yourself. This is going to go down in history. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. You know, hopefully he gets a big bag. See, this is when you perform like this. This is when you start talking about money. Champy said, I made money on plus 155. Should have took him before the fight started. Oh, okay. Yeah. You would have made a lot more money. That's like 3-1. That start hitting the 4-1 when you're a big dog. So I knew he was a dog. I knew he was a slight big dog, but I thought it might have been more to 5-1 where you can really make some green. Figuerora would have won if he went the distance. You know what, Rue? But see, that's the mentality that'll get you beat. Because I wasn't sure if he was going to go close the show because, you know, the fight, it started off really fast paced. And then I was like, man, I've seen Figueroa fade. You know, look at the Fulton fight. You can't tell me this is the same guy. And I guess he has Robles. Is it a new trainer? Does he usually have his dad? Can somebody help me? But Robles is known for turning Andy Ruiz around. He has some other notable wins. But this was a different guy in there, man. I did not expect him. Not boxing. Salute. Thank you. Hit the like, guys. Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you. You know, Frank Bay throwing it down. You know, smash the like. Yeah, man. Share this shit. This is real boxing, guys. Share this shit. Because I'm telling you ain't going to hear this really nowhere else. It's going to be a bunch of cucks. Oh, that's Rock'em Sock'em. What Shakir did, that's real boxing. That's pure boxing. Like, why are these motherfuckers trying to shove this shit down our throat? Have you been noticing that? Ball beats Ford. Robles is an elite coach. Look, man, this is what you do. You go put a stamp on it. I always say this, you know, when you're watching these fights, you know, and you're in somebody's backyard, you need to know you need to close the show. You can't really leave it to the judges. Figure he could have sat there and jabbed and, played it safe. There were some moments I didn't really like. He tends to slap a lot, paw a lot. But what I did notice, he was landing some heavy body shots, and that's what was getting overlooked. He was a 3-1 underdog. I said, okay, that's big. That's kind of big in a championship level fight, right? Disgusting as the Chilean distributor. Disgusting ESPN and Spanish commentators had what? Nah, man. Nah. You know what? Do you guys want my Discord? Because you guys can post this shit in my Discord. I will be providing that. But this is what you do, man. This is how you entertain. I was listening to the corner. It was effective. Okay. Maybe Tio should go with this guy, man. Night and day. You know what I'm saying? Night and day between performances. And Nick Ball was slugging it out. I mean, we got hats off to Nick Ball. He was fighting, man. It wasn't like he was back foot bitching it. He was actually the boxer in there. He was like the boxer. He was jabbing, hooking off a jab, throwing some all-you-cans, But ultimately, that's what cost him is he was throwing from long range. And I was just waiting for Brandon. Earlier in the fight, I said, Brandon needs to step back and find his range. And it looked like he was trying to do that with the left hand, but he kept eating shots. But you know what? His strategy worked. Boxing Kangaroo. What I love about Figgy is he's the same dude from the round 1 to 12. Give him his respect. You know what, Kangaroo? And I'm not gonna front with you guys. I just remember him from Fulton, and I wasn't too high on him. You know what I'm saying? But he proved me wrong. This is when I'm willing to eat crow. Because I'm like, hey man, he showed me he's a real fighter. I just didn't like how he looked. But man, I mean, what a fight though. What a fight. Turkey already wants to feed Figueroa to Carrington on Canelo's. Is that what they're talking about? Shit, man. He got to take the money. If Turkey Al-Sheikh throws him a lot of money, but there'll be some shenanigans. They'll try to give Shushu every edge. It is what it is, man. We got to just accept what the narrative is, what the angles are, but that's why we talk boxing. Tio with Manny Robles would be legendary. It is Tio, but Tio has to be willing to fight like that. Snackford, that's just as bad as Ring IQ Clown said. Big Fun won. He said he only won. I mean, come on, man. You got to have a little objectivity. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of people don't count body work. I've noticed that in a lot of championship fights lately. Somehow body work just gets overlooked. They were saying Figgy was pity patting, throwing his punches, then bang. I ain't gonna lie, it looked like that to me. I said it, but he needed to bring some pop. He needed to close the show, and he sure as shit did. Ring low IQ is a cuck he married. Go figure. Hey man, to each his own. Everybody like a little chocolate, but your boxing takes suck. You know what I'm saying? If you only had Figgy win 1 or 2, you wasn't scoring the body shots. UK lost their best champ. Well, shit, man, he was getting layups out there. You know, he was fighting guys coming off losses. He was milking it. Shushu get knocked out. He's chinny. Yeah, Castro rocked him, and he's our C League. Ha ha. Chitlin already changed his avatar. What? Snackfer, you think Fig beats Shushu? I believe he can, but they would try to. Yeah. Mike Rodriguez, salute. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man. We're talking about Fig. We're talking about Poo Poo. We're forgetting about El Divino, but Top Rank, we don't know where they're at, what they're doing. So, Angelo Leo's still out there. It's going to be hard to see a unification, but hopefully we get people step up. Champy, shout out to Manny Robles, another upset. Usyk, better be careful. Andy is a live dog. Oh, yeah. If that rumor comes true, Tio should train with Robert Garcia. With Roberto? I don't know, man. Tio is in love with the slick style. That's what people have said, that he idolized the slick style. He said, they're the best. He's gone on rants about how they're the best and nobody can beat him. And that's why he fights like that. But you know what? A lot of times when guys fight like that, it's because they don't want to get hit. They don't want to exchange. Look, man, in boxing, you got to be willing to take one to give two. We need interview with Brandon. Do you think I'm going to get one? He's too pretty boy. He'll get the ones with the, who's a good interview is Marco Villegas, Fight Hub TV. The other ones, there's like Seconds Out. What interview places? There's Fight Hype. There's Ellie Suckup in the back. Everyone, exactly. Thank you, Johnny Blaze. Can we get that again? Everyone done forgot about Shakira. And why would you? Why is anybody like, damn, when's the next fight? I can't wait to spend $1,500 on tickets. I can't wait to spend $300 on nosebleeds. But you know who will be getting talked about and probably get an award next year is Brandon Figuerora. With the highlight reel KO. That's an ass whooping. This Figueroa has a good chance. I just didn't like what the look like. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And we know the cards with Glaze shit. You already know. You know what? I'm going to get told it's Pope. But look, man. We know what time it is, man. We know who gets the coverage, who gets the media bias, who's against them, who's the victim. But look, man. Not only did Figgy do this, but he went in the guy's backyard and put a stamp on it. You always got to think, look, man, the fighters, you need to be aware of performance. I was thinking about this, about doing the live, right? Because I was like, you know what? Is Brandon Figueroa going to get any traction? He's getting any motion. It's not really a big fight. And you guys showed up because you felt the same way. And you know what? It's what I've been preaching the last week or two when I've been doing a live or doing a short or video is entertainment. You got to entertain the fans, man. People got to want to see you again. You know what I'm saying? They got to want to pay their money to watch you again. I went and seen a movie last night. I would recommend going watching a movie by M. Night Shyamalan. He did The Sixth Sense. Send Help. It's not the best movie. It's not the greatest movie. It's kind of campy. It's kind of corny. It's got Rachel McAdams from Mean Girls. She's a hottie, if you like white girls. But it was entertaining. It was entertaining as hell. And I say, if Frank Bay continues to do boxing talk, because I'm getting a lot of hate right now. I've been doing the Shakira Twitter send day 8, still boring, and I'm getting a lot of hate. Frank Bay is racist. He don't like black fighters, yada, yada. You already know the full 9, right? Mr. BDA, he gets the same shit. If you go and read the comments, he gets the same shit. Frank Bay's getting it now too. But I said, you know what? It's got to be entertaining. It just wasn't entertaining. It's been forgotten about. Ball went out sad. Well, you know what made it worse is the team. It's popular hate on Raza right now. Yeah, you know what? Because Tio's like full-blooded Mexican. Who? How the fuck? Shakur? Who? Okay, man. I'm going to drop the link for anybody who wants to get on, talk their shit. You know, if you're a Nick Ball fan and you're heartbroken, but don't be heartbroken. You know, it's the Heartbreak Kid Day, right? Who hates more, or Puerto Ricans? You know what? It's okay. Look, people are going to go for their own. That's fine. I dropped the link, hit the like, subscribe. People are going to go for their own. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you got to lie, when you got to tell yourself when something's boring that is not. You know what I'm saying? When something's just boring, it's just damn boring. Right? When something's boring, it's just boring. I don't know how else to tell you. If you watch a movie and it's boring, it's just boring. You know what? You know, it's like if you date a chick, there's only one worse thing than her not liking you. You know, if she likes you, you're good. And then, you know, she might not like you, but she still wants to see what you're about. But once a chick decides that your fucking ass is boring, it's over. That goes for anything. I said, so Frank Bay, you know what? I'm going to take the hate. I'm going to take the criticism. The one thing that Frank Bay will not be is boring. You understand what I'm saying? You may not like what I say. You may not, you know, you may feel some type of way about it. But one thing that's not going to happen is be boring. Boring is the death blow. But at least people, whether they love you or hate you, they'll remember you. They'll talk about you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm on here, so I know I'm going to get criticized. You understand what I'm saying? But you ain't getting no ass if you're boring. Trust me. Being boring, talking about the weather, talking about, you know, the mundane stuff is not going to get the draws, is not going to get the audience. So all that hit and not be hit shit is boring. You know, it keeps the panties on. You know what I'm saying? You know, she's looking at her phone and she's texting the next dude. Shakir already picking his next masterclass. You know, I guess he's calling out Pitbull. So I dropped the link. Frank Bay dropped the link. Hit the like. You know, hop on, talk your shit. If you're a Nick Ball fan, are you a Brandon Figuerora fan? Did you make some money? Were you excited? Was that the highlight of the night? You know, let the people know. Salute BDA, a real one. Getting that hate. But you know what? All you could do is keep it real. You know, one thing Mr. BDA does, he lets everybody talk. And that's the difference. I think that's the thing that I want to emulate is let everybody talk. And like today, you know what I'm saying? Did you think it was Rock'em Sock'em? Is this not boxing? Is it Rock'em Sock'em? It's not skilled. Let me ask you guys this. Were these guys skilled? Because what you'll have a lot of people talk about is it's not skilled. Believe it or not. People told me Lord of the Rings is boring, but that's my all-time favorite. You know, Bobus, I gotta tell you, I've never sat and watched the Lord of the Rings in one whole sitting. I had to it's a 3-hour movie. But I get it. But the only thing is, you can't convince anybody that it's not boring if they think it's boring. You know what I'm saying? There's things that I like that are boring. I'm sure people think I like classical music. You know what I'm saying? I like classical music. Believe it or not, Frank Bay will listen to classical music. But I wouldn't pick a date up and be bumping classical music. You know, she's gonna think I'm a serial killer. You know, I'm gonna have her for dinner, like literally. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have your mood for the chicks, the moves, you know, you gotta have the time with the homeboys, you know, music for the barbecue. There's a time and a place for everything. But nobody pays money to watch hit and not be hit. I'm telling you, there's nobody that could tell me that they do. That has to just be a flat out lie. I don't think anybody in their holy, solid right mind has ever said, hey, man, let me watch the next Shakir Twitterson fight. That hit and not be hit shit, ooh, let me get the lotion. You know, nobody ever brought their girlfriend over and watched that. Now, this fight, you could bring people over. You could bring a chick, and she'll be like, who's that? I want to see that again. They get excited. Trust me. You know, girls, they act polite, but that's just how they've been raised to make you look at them. But they love blood and guts just as much as the next. In fact, I know more women that like horror movies. There's a lot of men don't like horror movies and don't like blood and guts. But if you do, that movie Send Help is a lot of blood and guts. It's very graphic, very entertaining. And I left that movie saying, damn, you know what? I was entertained. When this guy makes a movie again, I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to pay my money. I'm going to go to dinner. I'm going to spend $80 on popcorn and candy, right? This shit ain't cheap. But guess what? It's worth it. You know, I go in front of the big screen. You know, you're in front of the big screen, and there's nothing like watching it on the big screen with surround sound. And that's like boxing, right? There's nothing like watching boxing with a group of friends and everybody, the drinks are flowing, the food is good, people are having it's like a party, right? Who wants to be fucking snoozed at a party? You know it's a shitty fight because people they're on their phone, they're kind of quiet, people start moving around, and you're like, damn, I just had a sucky party. You're not gonna get any return customers. I will say that about like Deontay Wilder. You know, we've been talking shit about Deontay, right? But he was entertaining for what he was. Was he good? Was he skilled? No, but a knockout was likely to happen. You know, those Fury fights were entertaining. They just were. They were entertaining fights. That's what people want. They need to be entertained. This is disposable income. I dropped the link, guys. Hit the like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Share one time for your boy. But am I wrong? Am I not a fan because I want to be entertained because I don't appreciate the sweet science? You know, they're talking about it. It's the Shakir Twitterson era. How do you guys feel about the Shakir Twitterson era? Is that something that we need? Is that something that we want? I need to know. You know, it looks like it's gonna be. If something doesn't happen fast, if another fighter, you know, we needed this is why we need Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, right? Because we need some excitement. Because that guy's not gonna bring it. You know, we got the Benavidez and Zurdo coming up. That should provide. Benavidez does provide excitement. We don't know what Bam Rodriguez, but we need more exciting fighters. How many exciting fighters do we have? We have a Nui. He's not fighting until May, right? He's gonna fight Nakatani in May. But that's what you need in your life. You need excitement. You need something to look forward to. You know, we need that thrill. You know, when I seen Brandon Figuerora knock him out like that, I jumped up out of my seat. You know, I jumped up, I yelled. You know, neighbors were probably like, "What the fuck happened?" And it was exciting. You can watch this over and over again. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can literally replay this every day for the next month. I mean, until we get another highlight reel knockout, right? That's what we need. We need more of these highlight reel knockouts. I don't understand how people get excited to think about going to watch a 12-0 boxing match. Does that get your juices flowing? Going, man, this guy's gonna outweigh him. I literally see people retweeting and tweeting and doing whole lives and shows and writing on forums, you know, the Discord forums. That's where people are at now, is Discord, and they're on the forums. And they're talking about, wow, I really enjoyed that masterclass. That 12-0 point was just amazing. But you know what they don't really do is post the highlight. Like, you're going to see this Figueroa highlight everywhere, right? You're going to see people talk about it constantly, repost. That's the key, right? The repost. This already looks like it has 32 reposts. And this wasn't even a big fight. That's the crazy thing, is this wasn't even really a big fight. It wasn't like the mega card we had last time, and it's already got traction. It's already got people talking. People are, you know, shout out to Nick Ball, because it wasn't like he was a back foot bitch. You know, Brandon Figueroa didn't have to go find this guy. They were there trading. They were slugging it out. That's why Nick Ball got caught, because he decided to go out on a shield. They both knew they needed the last two rounds. Now, whether who was ever ahead or Brandon was ahead is irrelevant, right? But they knew they knew they had to close strong, especially Brandon, if he was going to get the dub. And he did. You know, we see a lot of times guys just they coast. They think they won, or maybe they don't think that they need to go all out. They just need to box. But this is what makes for the entertainment or the theater of the sport. Hit the like. I dropped the link. Come talk your shit. I mean, this is what's needed. Imagine if this would have happened on that stage, right? If Shakur would have clipped Tio, or Tio would have clipped Shakur and ended it in this fashion, I mean, boxing would have been huge. It would have been almost as big as when we seen Usyk and Fury then get clipped. You know, when we seen Haney and Ryan and when Davina got clipped. You know, this is the thing that gets people talking. Gets the retweets, the reposts, the shares, the likes, the subscribes. You know, this is what Frank Bay can talk about. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm getting a lot of hate for the Shakir Twitter sin hate, I guess, that I'm giving. But it's like, what can I really talk about? The fight alone was nothing to write home about. At least this wasn't even a big fight again. We can at least talk about this. This is what needs to get talked about. It'll be talked about tomorrow. It's contender for knockout of the year, right? Knockout of the year. Think about that. Brian Norman just got knockout of the year for Jin Sasaki, which he did in like the summer of last year. So, you know, those things matter. You know, he got his ass beat by Davina Hanke. Not his ass beat, but, you know, it was a disgusting, terrible fight, and he didn't do shit. You stand your ground, Frankie. Don't let... Thank you for the words of encouragement, bro. Yeah, but Brandon didn't stick his tongue out like Butter Shakur. It's not a master class. You're right. Yeah, damn. Fought better square, go in the street. Huh? Stephen McNeat fought better square, go in the street. I think he means like if you want to fight square and stand toe to toe, go watch Street Beefs. Yeah, I see guys like this, right? I do, Mr. BDA. You know, I just don't understand it because I don't think those people are honest with themselves. You know, they're not honest people. But still, I still take the criticism, you know. But I embrace it. Think he's a champion again. Exactly, he's a champ. But the most important thing, people want to see him again. That's what you gotta. That's the impression you gotta leave. You know, like if you're a lame lay, the girl is not gonna want to see you again. You know, you gotta really rock her world. In this day and age, with social media saturation, you guys could be listening to anybody, anywhere. You could be on Twitter, you could be on X. You know, there's a oversaturation of talking heads, public opinion, right? So what you really got to do is wow people. You got to wow the crowd. You know, we're fighting for other people's entertainment dollar. You know, tomorrow's a Super Bowl, right? They're just going to be running into each other, smacking each other upside the head. And, you know, if it was flag football, if it was touch and not be touched, do you think there would be that much excitement? Or is it only exciting because you got these fucking monsters on juice smacking the shit out of each other? You know, and you even have people like rugby, right? They don't respect football players because they're like, oh, they're in pads. They're a bunch of gays, you know, a bunch of Fs. You know what I'm saying? Why are they in pads? Some people don't respect that. Yeah, Carl, if it was touch football, would people care? It'd be touch. Oh, it's touch and not be touched. Why do you want to see tackling? They shouldn't have to do that. You should have to catch me. It's like, bro, no. People tune in to see somebody get fucked up. Have you ever been anywhere and a fight break out? What happens? Everybody drops and turns. You cannot go anywhere in life, you know, to the grocery store, you know, to Walmart, to a restaurant. And as soon as the fight breaks out, everybody stops and looks. It don't matter if it's kids. It don't matter if it's grandmas and grandpas. You're black, white, Asian. Everybody loves to see a fight. Ball fans are down bad. You know what, Blaze? You know what? Let's give Nicky Ball the credit. He stood there and fought. He didn't backfoot bitch it. But yeah, you know what? They're devastated. That I'd never seen a crowd go so silent. And then they were booing. So it was kind of funny, you know. Crips are always hating because they're and their lack of balls. Hey, man. I don't ever criticize anybody's lack of balls to get in the ring. You know, I guess they have, you know, they got enough guts to get in the ring, but at the same time, at this level, you're a fair racist though, Frank. Is there anything but a fair racist? Look, man, I will take it all. I'll be accused of everything. All I say is, where's the proof? Show me where I've been like racist. How did you score it? I didn't score it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to front. I was just entertained. I was eating popcorn. You know, I was eating my food, drinking my soda. I only score fights that I like. Tio Shakira, I scored. I dropped the link, guys. Come talk that shit. I guess you just want to hear me rant and rave. You had a 7-4 Figuerora. Yeah, you know what? I had it pretty much even. I felt whoever won the championship rounds was going to win. You know, that was my feeling going into it. And the reason I didn't score it is because I really just wanted to watch it. Sometimes I just get that feeling. You know, it's 2 PM. You know, I had a hangover. I told you guys I went out. I had a little bit of a hangover. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not scoring it. I didn't have a lot of confidence in Fig. So I was like, you know, I'm not really going to score it. But I was like, you know, Fig with the body work. The announcers were kind of, they had, it was weird. The announcers in the UK, they had Ball winning, but they were trying to double dip. They were kind of like, yeah, but I could see Brandon getting some rounds, but it was the body work, bro. I think it was, I don't know what round it was, 4 or 5, but he hurt Nick Ball to the body. I was in Mr. BDA's Discord, and I actually said it. I think I said it on X, so I do have the receipts. Brandon. Salute Eric Gomez. Hit the like, guys. UK, come on, let's not rub it in. Let's be fair. You guys could do what you want, but Frank Bay, I'm just gonna say I give Nick Ball his props, man. He didn't back foot bitch it. How about that? Frankie, show us the replay again. For sure, bro. I just have to do it, you know, fair use. Just making sure, just doubling. But yeah, knockout of the year, bro. And the reason it is because at the highest level. At the highest level, guys. And if you want to jump on. You know, I want to know what people think. Is this a masterclass? Is this what an ass whooping is?
I'll tell you what a way to win a world title. In the away fighters.
Dude, he was out fucking cold.
Backyard.
Yeah.
Landing a heavy shot.
Damn, salute Eric Gomez. Yeah.
Thunderous left hand back.
And this is what makes this sport so tough, because when you're tired, when you're exhausted, you're giving everything to throw every shot you can throw, but your vision's not quite there because you're tired.
You guys didn't answer me, man. You guys didn't answer me. Did anybody feel the ref gave Nick Ball too much time the first knockdown? Because he was down for a while, and I was like, oh shit, he hasn't even started the count yet. And then he looks to resume the count, right? Nick Ball somehow, I mean, he was out flat on his face, right? That motherfucker was out flat on his face. He should have stopped the fight, but he gives him the opportunity. Nick Ball gets up, and then BDA. I hope it's not just me. And then he like shakes his hand, and he doesn't have him do the walk. Help me if I'm remembering it. I mean, it was exciting. Maybe I'm watching it differently. People see different things. But it was like he kept shaking his hand and kept trying to like wake him up. It was almost like he was like trying to help him wake up. I don't know. That's the way it looked to me. Ref gave him a lot of time. Yeah, I agree with the long counts. Yeah, he took a while to get down to the count. And he did his job by looking, because they're supposed to resume the count. But on the initial get up, he was like, like shaking Nick Ball. That's what it looked like to me. If Fabio Wardley, they would have waved off. The guy was still standing. Well, that's why the people say the UK stoppage, right? No more bomb squad. I don't know, man. He's coming back, right? He has an opportunity. But again, guys, this is boxing. Ball was out like Manny. Well, he got up. Manny was snoring. Manny, if you go watch that, he was actually snoring. I don't think I've ever seen a knockout like that where the guy was snoring. Somehow Nick Ball got up to his feet and then gets punched through the ropes. Even when Ball went to the ropes, the ref. Ah, man, this is why I do it, man. You guys see more than me, you know. When I'm watching a fight, man, either I'm really locked in or I'm doing other things. But and sometimes I score, sometimes I don't. But what I do when Frank Bay watches a fight, I kind of watch one guy. So I was watching what Brandon Figueroa was doing. Is that the way you guys watch the fight, or do you watch both guys? Even Ball went, okay, respect to Ball. Yeah, you got to give the guys respect. But people are saying his jaw was broken. People are showing snapshots, unless it's AI, that his jaw was in a whole different place. Yeah, Manny had both his arms under his dead body, and I'm a huge Manny fan. Yeah, he was snoring. Like, I'm not, when you say snoring, no, like in a street fight where the guy's like you're asleep. That's what they talked about, getting knocked the fuck out, getting slept. Nick Ball was dead though, right? Did Ball really beat Vargas? BDA is Guatemalan. Whoa. With BDA, you want to refute that? I believe BDA when he says it. Pound said Fig was about to do the 619 when Ball was on the ropes. Hey, man, he did the helicopter, right? Look, that's what I'm saying, bro. This is the shit that gets you excited. And I mean that literally in every way, right? It's called the death rattle. Who, from Manny or Nicky Ball? Hey, man, he got caught. That's why you exchange. And that's why these hit and not be hit guys, they don't exchange. If you notice, it's I hit you, you hit me. They're kind of playing the chess match, the amateur style, because they know what can happen. But in these championship rounds, you got to go for it. You got to go for it, guys. You got to entertain. Angelo Leo, David Benavidez, Jose Ramos, Brandon Figueroa, Raymond Muataya on the list. Mexican-Americans dominating. Damn, that's a hell of a list. And still no respect, right? No respect for those names. They got to fight everybody. They got to fight 5 times a year in people's backyards while other guys get to sit and do Twitter wars. BDA got the Heartbreaker hoodie on. Oh, I know I'm about to. I need to see BDA eat tacos in Canada. Damn, BDA just getting all the doubt. My apologies. Stay away from it. Walter Kang to this day. Well, he could prove us wrong, right? At least Ball exposed Ford. Well, you know what, Chidlin? That's what these hipsters are saying. They're saying, Ford ruined Ball. You know, you hear this a lot. Oh, so-and-so ruined so-and-so. It's like, bro, they fight and they win or lose. You can kind of use that analogy, but I don't like to. I'm going to give Figueroa his props. He went in his backyard. There was no American home. When was the last time an American went and did this? And specifically a Mexican-American. For Nick Ball, forgot Virgil. Virgil will be there soon. Shit, I hope so, man. Who knows, man? I'm on the Bosquan yet. Y'all sense he cries racism. To this day, I was counting only chance Virgil Pacheco will be there soon. A lot of politics. We got to only hope. Raymond Ford didn't ruin Edward Vasquez. Well, that's what they say. I don't know. People use these like hipster analogies, hit and not be hit. You know, fights styles make fights, but they only use it when they can't explain the boringness. They want to see footwork. Well, shit, Nick Ball was using footwork. He was jabbing. He had a great jab. He had an underrated jab, and he's like 5'0", right? He's an Oompa Loompa, and they're jabbing the shit, jabbing the hell out of him. So that's the thing, man. That's the thing. You know, Nick Ball fought a hell of a fight. We cannot take anything from Nick Ball, but I'm not gonna sit and give a fighter who lost credit. I don't like that shit, man. But look, man, people are free and allowed to do whatever the hell they want, right? You're allowed to have any opinion you damn well please. But at the end of the day, the only thing people care about is blood and guts. We got 2 blood and guts warriors, right? Brandon Figueroa and Nicky Ball. BDA got the BAM haircut. Oh, man, with the comb in his back pocket. Trying to look like a, what would you call it? Like a dapper dude. Dapper Don. They're coping that their fighters trash when the fight's real. No back foot bitching. Sean Ball holding the head and punching. Yeah, that was a lot of dirty tactics. But again, rewatch that fight, and Figueroa, he went dirty too. He went low a few times. And he was the only one that got warned for the dirty tactics. Edward Vasquez robbed against Ford because the fight was the United States. Facts. I watch boxing for the footwork of the type to never get. Man, I gotta pin that. That's a great analogy. Exactly. They're the type that they think that their job is to bore a girl, right? Like tell them their whole life story. Nobody loved them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta entertain. You gotta wow her. You gotta wow her. Just like I told my bro, my brother, he used to have girl problems. And I might get canceled for that. I may get canceled for this, but I said, bro, if the date's not going too good or you're hanging out, you don't know if she likes you. It's better that she don't like you or she likes you. Just don't let her be indifferent. And one way to break the ice is when in doubt, whip it out. And you'll get a reaction. You may get a bad reaction. You may get a good reaction, but at least you'll get a reaction. So fellas, here's a when in doubt, whip out. All right. BDA gave Baby Miller his toupee. Damn, BDA just be taking strays. BDA got Shakur top 3. Damn, taking strays. I don't know where y'all get that from, man. You know what I'm saying, man? People think that like when you other people talk, they kind of they put it on you. I did some shorts. Carl's the star of the shorts. He's talking about fighters make fights. Fake news. Yeah. A lot of fake news out there. You know what I'm saying? But Figueroa steals the show, entertains. People want to see him again. Fraud Mayweather still broke. Was anybody surprised about Fraud Mayweather being broke? That's the crazy thing, is everybody's kind of running with it. But to be surprised, Canelo's back in the news. Canelo Alvarez talking about he wants to come back. There are rumors that Christian and Billy could be. No, you're not surprised. Well, why is it even news is what I'm saying. News in the sense that like people are like shocked. Oh my God, he's broke. Is he broke? Like begging for food broke, or he just lost? He doesn't have all the hundreds of millions. Gel guns? I don't get that one. Are you talking about Floyd advertising some like Temu shit? Now it's your brother Frank. You already exposed your weenie cousin. No, that was literally my brother. My brother used to have 99 problems, girl problems. I said, bro, your problem is you're probably being boring. You know what I'm saying? You got to excite her. You got to excite the chicks. You got to excite the people. If Frank Bay was like, hey, guys, Shakur, great fight. He did his job. It's hit, not be hit. We don't like rock and sock him. Who can't wait for the next Shakur fight? Now, if Frank Bay was like that, it's going to dry up. No panties are coming off when Frank Bay talks like that. You know what I'm saying? You get, what's the saying? Motion is emotion. You have to be moved. You have to be moved to feel a certain type of way. Gel blasters. Somebody send a link, post it in the BDA Discord, and then I can see it. What is the gel blaster? All I remember is Victor Ortiz had face lube. Does anybody remember face lube? That great idea. Is that what you guys are talking about? I don't even want to know what a gel blaster is, and what would you need? What would you need a gel blaster for? That's the scary thing. And where would you put a gel blaster? It sounds very Diddy-ish, party-ish. Got to treat that bed like a ring. Exactly. You got to do tricks. You got to do flips. You know what I'm saying? You got to have lights. You got to have drink. You know what I'm saying? You got to have smells. It's got to be an experience. That's what you tell her, babe. You about to have the experience of a lifetime. You have to be unforgettable. She's got to remember you. People got to remember you. Shakur is boring. Day 8. Exactly. Someone jump on. I'm at the gym. Yeah. Someone entertain. I miss Tanky not catching strays. Y'all are funny, man. Everybody catching strays, you know. But where are the Shakir Twitterson fans, man? That's what I want to know. What you know? What's crazy? I bet you 90% of those motherfuckers didn't watch this fight. 90% of those people did not watch this fight because they're not real boxing fans. Gay whether broke couldn't happen to a better person. There it is, Impala. Yes, hit the like, hit the like. Couldn't happen to a better person. You know, when someone wins, that's what you say. Couldn't happen to a better person. Same thing with Stankonia, free tank. Couldn't happen to a better person. Deontay, you got cheated. Couldn't happen to a better person. Floyd Mayweather about to get touched by Turkey for a few quid. Hey, you got to do what you got to do in these streets, right? Got to feed the fam. Got to feed your tummy. You got to stay awake. You know, got to stay woke. You got to do what you got to do. I don't blame anybody in this life. You got to do what you got to do. You know, it's like I told my bro, man, you know, he didn't want to do certain jobs and said, bro, you got to do what you got to do. This step will lead to something better. You know, that's something my father taught me. You know, my first job was making pizza, but my dad helped me and he said, you know what, Frank, you make this pizza today, you'll be a millionaire tomorrow. And I didn't understand him. I didn't get what he was saying. I just hated the job. And he said, don't hate it. It's an opportunity. And guess what? Within a month, Frank Bay was the cashier. I'd be moving up in the world. I promise you, anywhere I've ever been, I've always got a promotion. Always. Because my dad taught me that. So we got to start somewhere. So Floyd, you know, if you got to start back again, start at day one. Hey, couldn't have happened to a better person. Nick Ball got lynched. Hey, he fought back. I'm going to just keep saying he fought a hell of a fight. Right? He fought a hell of a fight. And he got clipped. And that's what happens when you trade. Most of these Crips work at Pizza Hut. Hey, I was a kid, man. I was a kid when I flipped my pizzas. But guess what? Had I not done that, maybe I'd be in the streets and getting in trouble. I was in the streets getting in trouble too, but not for money. You know what I'm saying? Just being an idiot, you know, trying to prove, you know, who could drive the fastest, getting tickets, you know, almost killing myself in the car. But my dad taught me a work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Said, yeah, you're starting here, but don't ever think that that's where you're going to end up. You always got to look for the next position. So by the end, Frank Bay was managing shifts at the pizza joint. And you know, the people that were still the other kids I worked with, you know, the other teenagers I went to school with, we worked in the same pizza shop, and they couldn't understand it. They were like, Frank, how did you get to answering phones? I said, because I asked. Because my dad told me, he said, you know, why don't you shift? You ask to answer the phones. And then you get good at that. Then you go to the cashier. Then you manage a shift. Then I got a better job. And that's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how you got to do it. Frank Bay too fierce for pizza delivery? Nah, fuck that. It's too dangerous. Those fools were always getting robbed. Especially in the hood. You know, I lived in the hood. So no way I was doing that. My dad wouldn't have let me. You know what I'm saying? But salute to the pizza man, you know, undefeated character, man. We need pizza men, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to boxing, man. You gotta entertain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might not talk right, you know, you might walk funny, you know what I'm saying? You might not be able to do certain things, but that's the sport, man. B-Day started at Popeyes, now he's at the biggest boxing channel at Damn, why does BDA just catch strays? What did BDA do to y'all? I don't know, man. BDA, I don't know. People just like to take shots. I don't know, man. You know, it is funny, though. Salute BDA. You got to come handle your business. Motherfuckers work the same position for years and get angry at you for moving up. Facts. Not, you know what it is not? But I volunteered. See, those guys never understood it. I would, when those guys called out sick, I asked to be called out, and I would go in to pick up their shift. So the manager said, oh, I'm reliable. You know what I'm saying? That the biggest thing more than talent is reliability. That is one way to up your pay scale and up your pay style is reliability. There's a saying, reliability beats talent. There's a saying. I don't know. Frank Bay's not too smart sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the winner of the day, Brandon Figgy. And it was an upset. You have to there you go. See, not smarter than me. You have to show you can do the job before you get. Thank you. But my dad said, you have to ask, show initiative, go the extra mile. Oh, can you help and stay clean up? People don't want to do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll stay an hour so you can leave. And it never gets to people when they don't get that promotion. It never occurs to them that they always want to leave early. They show up late and leave early. Those are the type of people that always get mad. Same with boxing, right? The guy who doesn't want to take the fight, who boxes in the ass style, back foot bitch, they always cry and complain. We're seeing this pattern, right? Frank Bay, Dapper Dandy, exactly, right? They can't get it. They're like, why is Brandon Figueroa? Why do they want to see him? Why do they want to see Pitbull? Why do they want to see Ryan? Why do they want to see Barrios? You got to give the fans what they want. If you're not getting a second date from that chick, look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Hey, buy her, get extra cheese on that cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying be a simp, but just do a little extra, a little extra goes a long way. That's definitely true. Dudes won't work extra, but then get mad and start hating on those. Yeah, show up late, leave early, and wonder why they don't get it. Explain that to me. My dad also told me, that would be the last one for the Frank Bay lessons. My dad said, act like the owner. If you think like an owner, you'll start to see where you can not brown nose or kiss ass, but where you can work and be effective and get noticed. BDA lives in Canada because no ice picking on pesos. Damn, BDA just being a punching bag today. He said it's fake news. Always be first, Frank. Punctuality beats talent. Yes. Perspiration over inspiration. People expect to be given promotions for doing nothing. Backwards thinking. Always want to leave early, right? Always calling out. And then they wonder why. Facts. I dropped the link. I will drop it again. But this is what people want to see, man. It's no different in boxing. You got to go out and give the people what they want. If you get a black eye, that's what these hipsters do. They say, oh, look at his face. He got beat up. Dude, it's boxing. How is that what's the word that I'm looking for? How is that a knock? Oh, look, his face got lumped up. His eye got lumped. Oh, he has a bruise. Oh, look, he got pieced up. He got his ass whipped. It's like, bro, no. I'm giving the fans what they want. Spitting gems. You know what? And that's the crazy thing. It's not even gems. It's just common sense, Solo Dolo. But the problem is the people that were always left behind never got it. And don't get it mistaken. I'm a lazy motherfucker too. It's not like I don't get lazy too. But whenever I got like my hours were shrank or I didn't get the promotion, my dad made me look and say, well, did you call out? I was like, damn, you know what? I called out 2 times last week. Well, there you go, son. There's your answer. He made me realize that instead of crying and complaining that maybe I was late. Yeah, you know what, Dad? I was late a few times this month. Okay, well, there you go. Start showing up early then, motherfucker. He gave me the real talk. He didn't cry and give me 1 second. He didn't allow me to sulk. Especially in sports. So like boxing, sports, he didn't allow me to, like, if I wasn't starting or I didn't get the position, he didn't allow me. He said, did you go to practice all week? I said, no, I missed practice. Okay, well, that's why that other kid is starting. It's just cold, hard facts, baby. Salute. Mad Chad.
Yo, salute Frank Bay. Shout out to Frank Bay. How we doing, Frank?
We're doing good, man. Just seen a great, exciting fight.
Absolutely. My God, I'm thinking, what a fight here, It was like a, kind of contrast in styles a little, but we got a shorter guy, but it meshed perfectly because Figueroa was going to bring it and Ball's going to throw punches. And, to let it get all that way right to the last round, Frank, and then just that, I think basically Figueroa just threw a bomb. Shout out to Manny Robles for really going Tiafimo on him. Get the fuck going. You got to move here. You got to throw punch, like he was being really aggressive in the corner. And he threw a haymaker there. It was kind of like a haymaker, and he hit him the perfect shot. And boom, boom, out go the lights, right? The little ball got up.
Yeah.
You kind of knew it was going to be over. Figueroa was on him like white on rice there. And shout out to Figueroa. It's not over till it's over, Frank Bay. And the thing about it is, too, right? I'm thinking, if you're in the corner with Nick Ball, he's in his hometown, whatever, he's got the crowd behind him. He wants to finish, but you're not finishing that Figueroa. He could have, if I'm in his corner, I'm kind of whispering in that Ball's ear, like, hey, let's fight real defensive this round. We're at home. I don't know what the card said, but I could only imagine they probably had Nick Ball up on the cards. And I'm thinking, I'm telling my fighter, don't get knocked out here, because we got it. We want to crack the champagne after this fight. If you can just stay on your feet, we're gonna, you're at home. You're the A side here. And like I said, I haven't seen the cards. Have you seen the cards? Because I did have Nick Ball up in the fight. I thought if Figueroa needed a knockout. And my God, didn't he get one, Frank? What an exciting fight.
Exactly. I mean, this is what gets the juices flowing, man. This is what makes people want to see you again. That's kind of what I'm stressing with this live. I was like, man, I just want to talk about it. Like, that was some great shit.
Did you see what Turkey did? Turkey already called him. He said, I want to hold your hand. He already said, I want to hold your hand. You mean that
literally, or he
wants Figueroa on the undercard of the Canelo card. He already said it. He already tweeted it. He tweeted it already. Turkey tweeted it.
Damn. He's already Turkey. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying Turkey's thinking like you. Turkey saw the importance of Figueroa here. People will pay to see him fight again, but Turkey's begging him to get on the card, to get on that Canelo undercard. So that card's looking like it's going to be a fire card. But Turkey sees the talent here. And sorry for cutting you off, Frank, but
no, it's okay.
But
no.
What a great fight to say. It ain't over till it's over. And what a punch.
Yeah, no, I mean,
guys, how are we doing today?
Hello.
Hello there. How are we doing today?
Great.
That's excellent. I'm so glad to hear that.
Is that an auto changer, auto tune?
No, it's my real voice. You like it? I know.
Amazing. It's crazy.
People do. I dig all the ladies with this fire voice.
Wow. So what'd you think of the fight? Can you guys hear or understand what he's saying?
A little bit of a distraction, but it kind of sounds like a robot.
Yeah. I know it is.
I'm not
sounds
a
robot. Like a Star Wars or something.
I'm not a robot, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, but I think you might be geek.
Okay, yeah. I'm out.
Yeah. Frank, did you get the scorecards at all? Did you get to see the scorecards?
No, people are saying that Figueroa was up, which is surprising.
Which is surprising to me. Like I said, who knows if Timmy Cheatham's on the scorecard? Who knows? The guy's name Cheatham. I mean, but I'm just saying. I think they might just be capping, because I haven't seen the scorecards. But I would be shocked if they had Figueroa up in that fight, Frank.
Stand that you're shocked, because that's what the people are saying, and that's what I've been hearing, that Figueroa was up indeed, but it was the body work. He was landing some great body shots. If you guys watch that fight again, he was landing this he's a southpaw, right? So his left hand was stabbing Nick Ball in the gut every time he would jump, because Nick Ball was fighting from range and leaping in. And then when Nick Ball missed with the uppercut, Brandon would rally to the body. Is that what you guys see?
He would rally. Yeah, he would hit hard, but it just seemed like Nick Ball just was hitting the more harder punches, the faster. His head would, maybe.
Yeah. No,
like I said, I would be shocked, Frank. Frank, I'll be absolutely shocked. Was Nick Ball fighting in his hometown?
Yes, he was fighting.
And you're telling me an American going to England in a close competitive fight, which everybody would agree on, regardless of who's working who, both of them had moments. All I'm saying is I find it just about impossible. I'd love to see those cards because they will be posted. I would find it just about impossible that they'd have Figueroa up in the cards. If it was in America, I get it. If it was in Brandon Figueroa's hometown, I get it. They'd have but that was in England. Those people aren't playing. They protect their champion, so to speak. And I would be shocked if Figueroa was up on the cards.
Well, that's what the people are saying. I mean, when I was listening to the commentary, because I agree with you, it looked like Nick Ball to the naked eye was landing the more eye-catching shots. What you're saying, the snappier, a good steady jab, a hard jab. But Brandon would just kept working that body, man. He did not let go of that body attack. That was my. I pinned the. Go ahead.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think Figueroa definitely had his moments. He worked the body great. It was a fun fight. It's like I didn't see that punch coming because I thought Figueroa might have to hit him with a bunch of shots to do that. But like I said, if you watch that back, Figueroa basically closed his eyes, put his head down, and just fucking threw it when he threw it, kinda, and caught him right on the button. Caught him on the button. And Nick Ball, on the other hand, maybe he was down, and they told him, "Hey, you're down. But like I said, it was a great shot. I didn't see it coming though. It seemed like it was just kind of gonna go to decision. Nick Ball, majority decision or whatever. That's what I thought it was going to happen. But Figueroa was still alive, and you could see the urgency in the corner with Manny Robles. I think good trainer, and my God, what an upset! He was an underdog. He was the underdog too, and he was the underdog. Yeah. Shit almost turned into Marvin Hagler for a minute. I thought they were going to start throwing bottles at him.
They did. I seen a couple beers fly in the ring at the end. Well, yeah, because there was that fiasco at the end.
Yeah, a little fiasco. Sore sport English people.
Well, I don't understand. I guess what I initially heard the commentators say was that Figueroa was celebrating too much. That's what they said, and they said that they weren't being courteous of a Nick Ball like dying in the corner.
They weren't drinking their tree and crickets. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, but I mean, we've seen fighters step over guys, and they don't. There's not like a near riot in the ring, so it looked like they just were mad. They lost a lot of money. They seen their pensions go up in smoke.
They saw that easy money go up in smoke, like I say.
Yeah.
We'll see if the people are right or not. Like, the people aren't always right. I just find it hard to believe that they would have Figueroa up on the cards.
Eric says Ball got caught in the exchange of hook. Ball didn't see. And watching the fight, that was they were doing that all fight, and because Nick Ball was fighting from range and he was like leaping in. It was just a matter of time that he got caught. If you watch that hook, just kept landing, and Fig kept eating it. And in his mind, he probably was thinking, I'm going to catch him one of these times, that leaping in. And you kind of just got to wait for it.
And he just closed his eyes and threw it. Because usually Figueroa, when he was going hard, when he was really sitting on his punches, it was body shots. Like, it seemed like he was throwing those way harder than his head shots. And it seemed like he reversed it. Because a few rounds, he came right out and threw a real powerful try to hit the left to the liver. He definitely would throw his power to the body punches. And I think maybe good old Ball was getting ready for a body shot. And he got a hard one right up top.
They didn't ever see it, man. He probably still don't know what happened. What did you think about the dirty tactics? Did you feel it was a dirty fight or
No, I didn't notice no dirtiness. I had it turned down a little. I thought Ball held his head a little bit at one point. I maybe a couple low blows by Figueroa a little bit,
Yeah,
but I
too,
I didn't notice either one of them being dirty. I see either one of them wanting to kill each other, but I didn't see no flagrant elbows or headbutts going in, leading with the head. It seemed like a clean fight to me. The ref didn't have to do much work, a little bit of interruptions there, but it seemed like a pretty good, clean fight, Frank.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying it was exceptionally dirty, but I thought Ball was getting away with a little bit of the holding Brandon's head down. And what I said is I was happy that Brandon went low during those times because he had to let him know, I'm not gonna let you keep doing this. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it kind of stopped, so to speak. I don't know. I think that's what you do. That's what you do.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna do it.
How many times we see these guys be too respectful?
I don't think either one's going to complain about the other fighter being dirty.
Yeah, no, I mean, because I seen Brandon land some really low blows. There was a couple that were he got lucky he didn't get penalized because he went straight for the nuts. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I think because he got his head held. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I think he got thrown down. There was a little wrestling.
Yeah, little wrestling, but like I said, yes, there was a few fouls in there and stuff, but that happens in a fight with two guys, styles like that. And right. I didn't notice it to be dirty. Like I said, I don't listen to the commentary in the fights.
Oh, okay. For reasons, or just you don't like to listen to it?
Just because usually there's someone pushing a part of it, and I just like to watch it with my own, just watching it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like to me, the commentary.
I can have a game on or something. I can multitask, and I don't need to listen. I don't need to listen to a boxing match, especially with some fucking doofuses talking about it.
Yeah, no, I like this commentary. I'm listening just to see which way they're leaning to. If they were gonna be super biased towards Ball, I felt like they really weren't. At the very beginning, they were saying Ball was up, but then towards the end, like 8th, 9th round, they start kind of playing both sides and saying, well, I think I could have gave Figueroa this round. So at the end, it's almost like they started to notice Nick Ball fading. That's what I kind of seen from the body shots, and so they wanted to hedge their bets. But I agree with you. The commentary can be very biased.
It's just annoying. A lot of times the fight itself can be annoying. I watch it for the enjoyment of it. That was a great fight to watch. You know what I mean? That was a great fight.
Well, I think
not
it's
a great fight. I wouldn't call it fight of the year. I wouldn't call it fight of the year. But if people are saying Nick Ball was down on the cards, it makes it less eventful to me then, because I thought he was up on the cards.
Yeah.
And I thought, he could just go out there and coast in that last round and win 7-5. You follow me, Frank? He got slapped. He got slapped because he still was battling like a Mickey Ward Arturo Gatti.
Yep, Eric says Frampton was all over Ball's nuts, and he says, yeah, they were hedging their bets after round 8. Yeah, that's what I noticed. I mean, look, man, you can't expect anything less when you're in another guy's hometown, but Figgy closed the show, man. I think that's the best thing in boxing is the championship rounds. Is a guy, Matt Chad says he did that Nick Ball probably was up, but I don't think Figgy. Now, did you say that his trainer Robles was telling him go for it in the championship rounds?
Let it all out here, motherfucker. He used the four-letter word a few times. He was telling him, man, you gotta go now. Go time. Be first. Be last. Get him.
Yeah,
I will turn the volume up. I'll turn the volume up when they go to the corner. When they go to the corner, I'll turn the volume up and listen to what they're saying in the corner.
Hit the like. John, the link is in the chat if you want to come on and say what you thought about the fight. Is this
and
real
I think
boxing?
He connected, Frank. Like there's a connection. Like Figueroa is receptive to him. You know what I mean? Like not to bring up the Teal thing, but I think it's just kind of sucking the energy of Teal instead of giving him the energy. Not that there ain't love there, not that there ain't respect between the two, but I just think it's run its course where he's an energy sapper instead of an energy you know. And I think that because Tio had no zap, he was like a battery. He wasn't like a Duracell. He was like that cheap battery you get at the Dollar General that lasts one. Your remote control car is dead after one run.
That's a good point. I agree with you. Yeah, Tio. They had nothing. There was no chemistry.
No
there
gear.
was no symbiosis. Like, you have to feed off each other. You're right. Just like a battery, right? It takes the both charges to make it go.
And for a while, I think it really was an elixir. It was that snack juice power. It was his dad. It was them against the world. But it's ran its course, so to speak, and it's just time, I think, for the old man to step aside and say, hey, I need someone else to sit there and look my son in the eye in between rounds.
Yeah, Tio probably would better suited for a a new voice, but I don't know if they'll never fight again, but I don't even know if a good trainer would have helped them. Maybe it makes it more exciting and close, but the way he looked just so flat. I don't know. Let his
nuts out of the sack, though. I thought he would have let his nuts out, just say, hey, here I am. I'm going to let my fist go and maybe look like an idiot or something. Let it go. And I never saw that. I never see him shift gears. I never see him hit the nitrous button. Usually these elite fighters, they got that nitrous button.
Well, you got to, I think that's a mentality, man. I think closing the show. The closing the show is a mentality. I seen a highlight the other day.
But even getting into the show, a lot of fighters are behind. You gotta go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, that's a mentality, Mad Chad. I think I was watching highlights. The great legend Marco Antonio Barrera, and I guess he was fighting McKinney. Here on Twitter, I seen some highlights, and it was already the 12th round. I think he was winning, and he just closed the show. He just went after the guy, that like he hit him with the shot, the light switched, and he's like, I'm gonna get this guy out of here. And he just went and did it. I don't know if Tio has that dog in him.
I think he would. I think he would under certain different situations. I think his mental to physical is 4:1, and I think he's just mentally zapped.
I think you're right, because we can see one team, right? A football team, for example, or a basketball team. They have a coach and then they're not doing anything for him, and they bring in a new coach and he gives them a pep speech, and then all of a sudden they're guns blazing. They just go out and kick everybody's ass. And what's the difference? Is it the team or the coach? Eric Gomez says, show me the power, Tio. Show me the power. Man. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, at this level, we're talking about the highest level of sport, and this is what you're getting. This is, he says, is Brandon's best win ever? I kind of think so. Look, man, I like I said, I'm not gonna lie. After seeing how he looked against Stephen Fulton, I counted him out. I was like, I'm not a believer of this guy. I don't really want to see this guy again. He just really disappointed me with a lackluster effort. So I think it is, man. In this guy's backyard.
Look, wait till his next payday. He's on the undercard of the Canelo fight with Turkey. That's going to be a huge card. Like Brendan Figueroa just made a ton of money. And you're talking about a tough hombre. Holy smokes, Frank Bay. That dude is as tough as they come, because he ain't the most defensive, he ain't a defensive master. Like, he gets hit. And he does not have any quit in him. Like, that dude, quit ain't in his vocabulary. That dude, shout out to Brendan Figueroa, because he is a tough dude that does not stop. He does not stop, bro. He's relentless. And that was so exciting, that 12th round. Everybody, that shocked the world, so to speak. It was shocking. Yeah. That was a shocking upset, Frank.
Dude, you know it because the crowd went silent and his team just jumped in the ring like trying to fight anybody. Like, they were so mad. That's how like, you really made an impact when if you ever, the best feeling in sports really is going into somebody's home and beating them and shutting their fans up. To me, I don't know. What do you think, Matt Chad? Is that, like, you can win it at home, which is great, but to go in someone's backyard and beat them and make their fans cry, I don't think there's anything better.
Nothing better.
If you're the athlete.
Nothing better. Like I said, if they would have had glass bottles, I would have been raining down. That kind of had the Hagler Minton feel for a second.
Yeah, there's been fights. I've seen that, right, where the fans start almost mini riding and throwing like a bunch of shit in the ring and stuff like that. Eric Gomez says, Ball got, oh, we lost Mad Chad. If anybody wants to help else hop on and talk shit, Ball got Brandon with a few uppercuts. He down, not flinch. Okay, I'm saying, oh, okay. Ball got Brandon with a few uppercuts and he didn't. Then yeah. That's the thing. It was kind of scary because he was eating some heavy shots, man. I mean, I'm sure people are gonna watch the fight again, but Ball was tagging him and Brandon. I was like, damn, move your head, motherfucker. And he just ate it. You know, Mad Chad just said that he was eating the shots. And in boxing, you know, they talk about the hit not be hit, but dude, you gotta eat some shots. You gotta be able to walk through some shots. You're just gonna have to do it if you want to be an exciting fighter. You know, it's a choice, man. You can be you can be memorable or you can be forgettable. Which one are you? You know, when I look at the chat, the Matadors, the Eric Gomez's, you know, you guys are memorable. You guys say some crazy things, but it's memorable. You know, you make people remember you. And then some people, man, they're forgettable. Having a chin is essential in boxing. Having a chin, well, you know, people will say, oh, you want Rock'em Sock'em. He's supposed to just eat shots. No, you can use your defense. You have gloves, you have head movement, you know, but you kind of parry the shots. You kind of take shots on the gloves. You know, you're trying to get position. You're trying to get in range to land your shots. And sometimes you're going to get hit. But you do that in mind. Like, I'm going to take these 2 jabs to land my big right hand, to land the power shots, to work the body. Especially working the body. You're going to take shots working the body. You're more vulnerable. There's a reason why a lot of these ass style back foot bitches, they don't really attack the body, because you're more vulnerable. It takes more skill to come forward and eat shots in order to attack the body. Why? Because your hands are down, right? When you throw a punch to the head, you can bring it right back, right? You're taught in 101 boxing class, when you throw a jab, you bring it right back. When you throw a right hand, you bring it right back. The one thing that is hard to learn, that a lot of when you beginners start, they're not comfortable going to the body because you feel more vulnerable. Your hand is going down, and it takes that split second longer to bring it back up. So you need to be able to kind of bob and weave, move at the waist. You know, there's been styles like the peekaboo style. You know, Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar. Julio Cesar used to eat a lot of shots, but he had a plan. He had a game plan. He knew, the more shots that I eat, this guy's going to get discouraged. Eric Gomez. Facts. The body work Brandon put in and exposed himself were the key in the, it paid dividends. But right? Put your hands up and throw a body shot, right? Throw a hook to the body. You're a little bit more exposed. Ali never threw a body shot. Yeah, and he ended up talking funny. You know, his style was more fleet of foot, right? Move around. But, you know, some fighters, they want to establish a body attack. It's a little bit more risky. You're going to get countered more and easily because your hand is lower and it takes a little bit longer to bring back. But that's why it's called investing in the body. You just work it. You work it, and eventually it'll pay off. And the messed up thing about boxing is that it seems like a lot of people don't score the body shots. They just kind of get overlooked. It's not eye-catching, you know, because while Brandon's working the body, you know, Nick Ball is landing the more, you know, catchy shots. You know, you see Brandon's head snap back from a jab. That's going to be remembered. That's going to be scored more. We see Pitbull do it, right? Pitbull versus Lamont Roach. He's going for the body, and Lamont Roach is picking him off with kind of 1-2s, jabs, things of that nature. And again, if you disagree with me, you don't believe me, you don't like what I say, hit the link, talk your shit, and we could hash it out. You know, it's real easy. Hit the link, I'll bring you on, and we could talk boxing. But anyways, back to the body work. You know, it just really gets overlooked because it's not eye-catching. Don't forget how much they value body shots to justify giving Haney. And that's another example of the biasness and favoritism. But in a real fight, when two guys are going mano y mano, Frank Saludos Paisa, thank you, Cholo. John Misnit, facts. Had to throw to a plug for Marv Tu Matador. Yeah, Mad Chad catching strays too. You know, that's the funny thing, man. Everybody catches strays. But hell of a fight, man. You know, like I said, man, this is knockout of the year so far. I really can't see another knockout of the year just because, you know, at this high level, a championship match, a Mexican in the backyard against a UK guy, a little pit bull like Nick Ball, you know, throwing heavy shots. They were trading leather. Brandon Figueroa, you know, you didn't know if he was down on the cards. You know, the media bias, the announcing bias, all odds against. Right? McSmith. Salute McSmith. Hit the like. Don't be a hater. You know, Lord Chilaquiles, boxing will never leave you. We need those likes. Likes. Hit the like. You know, hit the link. That's how you script it. See? I don't get that, McSmith. What is the script? Going in the backyard and defeating somebody? You know, because that's the thing. Which you won't really see Americans really do that. Go in somebody's backyard like the UK, like Eastern Europeans, go to Mexico. You know, most American divas, they stay here and they play it safe. You know, Floyd Mayweather, you know, he always played it safe. He fought in his hometown. You know, you'll never see Shakira go overseas. You know, did Snackford, did he ever go overseas? Nice story, ain't it? Shit is wrestling. You lost me, McSmith. I don't know what you're talking about. There was some grappling, but wasn't a lot of clinching. You know, Brandon, if he was gonna, when Nick Ball kept trying dirty tactics, you know, going with the you know, bringing Figgy's head down, he just went to the body. It was like this, you know, what he practiced. You know, as soon as he got touched, boom, boom, body shots. You know, Nick Ball reaching, body shot. And he just was really working, slowing the guy down. Brandon brought the Chilaquiles to the UK. Yeah, you know they know about it now. Make a nice movie. This is what it is. This is a movie. This is what people want to see, brother. You know, this is the type of boxing that they want to see. They don't want to see hit, not be hit, jab and grab. Crapford went overnight, wants to fight a oh, yeah. Fresh off a broken jaw and got a gift draw. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, maybe once in a while. Well, he didn't have a name, right? So normally if they have a name like that, Abba Zaba Mason has a name, you know, Shoo Poo Poo Carrington has a name. So, you know, they're not going to go overseas. But that's what makes boxing great, you know? If you want to be great, sometimes you got to go do the great things. You know, you go fight in the guy's hometown. Yeah, Bud went to the UK one time. Okay, well, I take it back, but still. Okay, he did it. But Snackford says that it was coming off a broken jaw and got a gift draw. Yeah, I mean, look, man, if you don't have to, why would you? But it just makes it that more impactful. You know, you see guys like Espinoza, the foreigners, come over here and they do it. They got to do it. You know, they got to come over here and win, and nobody gives them credit. You know, nobody gives Bivol, Beterbiev, Espinoza. Nobody gives the Eastern European, the Mexican, you know, sometimes the Puerto Rican. They don't give them credit for having to come to the States and be one of the American champions. Manny Robles underrated, not getting the flowers he rightly deserves. Well, I think after today he will. You know, there'll be a lot of people probably bringing his phone. Hey, man, can you work with my guy? And he's the man now. Now he can pick and choose. My, have the tables turned, you know? I agree, Eric. The tables turn, man. One day you're up, the next day you're down. Zero credit, yep. But that's boxing, man, you know? I always say, man, and that goes for anything, you know? Whether it's the streets, whether it's the news, whether it's business, whether it's YouTube shit, Frank Bay, one day you're up, the next day you're down, you know? One day you're cooking, the next day you're not. One day people like what you say, and the next day don't. You understand what I'm saying? But that's life, man. That's why you got to make your next move your best move. And hats off to Brandon Figueroa today, man. Just, you know what? I ain't gonna, like I said, I'm not going to front. Frank Bay's not going to do it. I wasn't rooting for him 100%. I was very disappointed in his last performance, and this is what being proven wrong means. You know, they asked about Shakira. Would he prove me wrong? Nah, he didn't prove me wrong. He proved me basically what I knew he was gonna do: is back foot bitch it, do the bare minimum, you know, and stink the joint out. Now, look, if you like that thing, that's cool. That's cool, bro. More power to you. But this shit, what Brandon Figueroa and Nick Ball did, that's boxing. And I think that's where I'm going to end it today, man. But look, man, let me just bring up one more thing. I just want to show it one more time, man. Let's salute to both guys. You know, hell of a performance. Just when we needed it. After that snoozer last week, you know, we finally get real boxing. This is real boxing, y'all. This is what it's about. Excitement, entertainment.
To win a world title in the away fighter's backyard, landing a heavy shot like that. Thunderous left hand, Barry.
And this is what makes this sport so.
And then he gets punched through the ropes.
Because when you're tired, when you're exhausted, you're giving everything to throw every shot you can throw, but your vision's not.
And it was the 12th round. The 12th round, mind you. Vato back in. Mexican's own Uzbek. The UK is our Mex. Facts. Yeah, man. If you want to hop on. Before I jump off, right? That's what I tell her. Hop on before I jump off. Caught his dumbass sipping tea. That's a good one. No Shakur Sleep Fest. But look, man, I'm going to just keep stressing it. This is boxing. This is boxing. Now you're going to hear the boxing hipsters talk about, oh, it's that's not the sweet science. That's Rock'em Sock'em, another flat-footed Mexican. We already know the lingo, the stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? Shakur pit me out. I think he did everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think his own team. You know, look, man, did Tio shit the bed? Yes, he did. But it is no excuses. You like what you like, and you don't like what you don't like. And nobody can convince me otherwise. You know, I seen a great movie last night. Had a couple beers, a shot or two, seen a great movie, was highly entertained. And I left feeling good. I was like, wow, that was really entertaining. Went and had a good dinner. I said I had a good night. It was highly entertaining. I watched this. You know, it just sucks. It's here at 2 p.m. in the afternoon for us on the West Coast, right? But we were entertained. You know, you're listening to Frank Bay, and all I hope is like you guys are entertained. You say, hey, man, you know what? That's what I've been thinking too, man. It's not just me. It's like, fuck that back foot bitch, boring ass style shit, bored to tears. This is real boxing. This is what it's about. You know, even the Zuffa card, you know, Butayev and Bokachuk were slugging it out. Hot Rod and Gvozdyk were slugging it out. You know, Rayo was decent. The other guy, Torres, kept coming forward. This is what the people want. And boxing needs to do itself a favor and give us more. See, this is what we have in boxing. We have the boxing cuck media establishment trying to shove this boring back foot bitch style down our throat. They're trying to tell us that you don't know boxing if you don't like that. That's what they're trying to convince us of. And Frank Bay, you know, Lord Chilaquiles, Boxing Will Never Leave You, the Frank Bay channel, the Frank Bay group. If you're listening, you know, we don't buy it. And you're going to see people ain't going to buy it. The majority of the public is not going to buy it. You're not going to convince me that that's what boxing is. That that's what I'm going to spend my pay-per-view money. That I'm going to spend $1,500 for floor seats. That I'm going to spend, you know, a couple thousand to go to Vegas, to go to New York, to go to, you know, LA, wherever they have the big fights. And I'm going to spend all this money to go watch this guy. Now, Brandon Figuerora, he's going to get my money. And I hope they're right about what Turkey Ali said, right? That he wants him on his card. He's going to get a big payday. And he's going to be fighting with Canelo Alvarez. One day he was nothing. Now he's something. But that's how I'm going to end it, man. This is Real Boxing. This is Frank Bay. Like, subscribe, share. You know, I put out some shorts. The UK, Mars, hit the like is UK territory. Well, look, to that, You see, they don't have the UK versus the slick style, right? They have UK versus Mexican because they know who's going to sell and who's going to bring the fights. And let anybody tell you that that ain't the truth. Action-packed fighter. Exactly. Let anybody tell you that that's not real boxing, that that's flat-footed Mexican, rock'em sock'em. Let people tell you that and try to sell you some bullshit. You understand me? And that's how we do it in Frank Bay, you know? We give you the real, raw, uncut. We tell it like it is and let them cry and whine and bitch, moan and complain. And we're just going to, you know, support what we want. So on that note, let me get some shots out to the homeboys, to the homies. You know, Mad Chad was cooking, Mexican boxing, Eric Gomez, Mars, Vato, John McSmith, you know, Hawker Mustang, BDA, Impala, Snackford, the Diaper Dandy. Shit, man. Everybody that came through, really appreciate it. And we're going to keep this boxing shit lit. Boxing Guru, and keep it moving, keep it lit. And we out.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Mexican boxing #1. Salute.